You're listening to Do This First, a daily personal development podcast that focuses on science-backed, actionable steps towards your best year ever. Hi, I'm Santa, your host. For the past couple of episodes, we've been focusing on reflecting because autumn is upon us. Our series, Autumn, A Time for Reflection, has walked us through some of the finer points of an activity that is so necessary for clarity and overall health, yet it is so underrated. Many overlook or undervalue the benefits of setting aside a little time every day to help stay centered, calm, for your renewal, for your mental and physical power as well. Consider the mighty bear. Before winter, bears eat excessively to build up fat reserves and then go back to their dens to kick back for the winter. Everything slows down for them, like their heart rate, their body temperature, and overall activity levels. However, they're not sleeping all the way through as myth would have us believe. Remarkably, bears do not suffer from muscle atrophy or significant bone loss during hibernation. They have special physiological mechanisms that maintain muscle and bone health despite prolonged inactivity. Bears do not eat, drink, urinate, or defecate during hibernation. Instead, their bodies recycle waste products. For instance, nitrogen, a byproduct of protein breakdown, is used to create new proteins rather than be excreted like they usually are. The primary purpose of the slowdown is to conserve energy during the winter months when food is scarce. For pregnant female bears, hibernation is critical. They give birth during this period, typically in January. The cubs are born tiny and adorable and very underdeveloped, but they sure grow very quickly. American black bears hibernate for up to 7 months. Grizzlies usually hibernate for about 5 to 7 months. And then the polar bears that are pregnant enter a hibernation-like state called denning. Non-pregnant polar bears don't typically hibernate at all, but their activity levels are significantly reduced. Do you know how big the largest polar bear known to man was? The largest polar bear ever recorded weighed over 2,200 pounds and stood 11 feet and 1 inch tall on its hind legs. It was discovered in Alaska in 1960. Are you mightier than the polar bear? I'm asking because even the mightiest bears have to take time out to refuel, and so do we. The process bears go through every winter allows them to conserve energy and survive long periods without food. It's an incredible adaptation that enables them to endure even the harshest conditions and emerge more powerful than ever. We can do the same by taking time out to reflect. Reflecting is underrated, as we often feel that there's not enough time to sit down and think. Our busy schedules filled with work, family, duties, with social obligations, and little room for quiet contemplation. Time constraints, immediate priorities, and tangible outcomes push us to keep going on no matter what. I absolutely value productivity and accomplishments. I am what most people would call a pragmatic optimist, so those things are important. It does fill me with admiration when I see others whose content I enjoy, whether it's music, books, art, movies, and so on, that are reaching heights that they've never reached before and are continuing on stronger than ever. And I derive personal satisfaction from my own goals being met and striving farther. But there is a high price that we'll pay if we don't take time to unplug and reflect on a consistent basis. The big summer vacation that we've heard throughout our lives and that we've participated in countless times is truly a fallacy. A vacation is just a temporary reprieve, but you'll come back to the same old situations. Taking just a little time out every day will help you stay on track emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Did you know that 24% of our population takes pills to alleviate stress and or stress-related conditions? Kids are not taught to slow down at school, but to speed up. Reflective practices are not emphasized in educational systems, meaning people grow up without understanding the importance or methods of effective reflection. The media often highlights action-packed lifestyles and instant gratification rather than the slow, deliberate process of reflection, which of course skews perceptions of what is valuable. And let's be honest, reflection can sometimes bring up uncomfortable emotions or truths that we might prefer to avoid. Confronting one's emotions or truths or vulnerabilities or past mistakes requires emotional courage. Genuine reflection might lead to realizations that necessitate change, and while some of us don't really like a lot of change, some may subconsciously avoid reflection to maintain the status quo. There's also a preference for quick fixes and immediate results. Our society is wired that way. Doing the inner work or the heavy lifting isn't glamorous or Instagram ready. How is that caption going to read anyway? Reflection is a slow process that may not produce instant visible benefits, making it less appealing to some. It is not superficial and requires your undivided attention. You can't multitask reflection. There are no shortcuts. Small, manageable, reflective practices like journaling for a few minutes a day or having a brief check-in with yourself is all it takes. During the time you set aside, you disconnect from digital devices for moments of uninterrupted reflection. You prioritize yourself because you matter. Reflecting is a critical cognitive and communicative process that's often used in learning, counseling, and various professional contexts to enhance understanding and development. The main components of reflecting include paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and actions, awareness of the significant events in your life, being able to describe those events without judgment, analyzing the events and comparing and contrasting with other similar situations, evaluating the actual results. Is this what you wanted? Connect your insights with an action plan and continue to move forward while checking in with yourself, your progress every day if possible. Several models and frameworks have been developed to facilitate, to make it easier for us to participate in structured reflection. Structured reflection will help you maximize the time you set aside by having a tangible focus. Here are some well-known reflection models that I've used that can be helpful. Basically, it's just a string of questions that you want to answer or focus on during your reflection time. Number 1, the Gibbs Reflective Cycle, 1988. What happened? Feelings. What were you thinking and feeling? The evaluation aspect of it is what was good and bad about the experience. What sense can you make of the situation? What else could you have done? If the situation arose again, what would you do? Another highly effective model, Kolb's Experiential Learning Cycle, 1984. You use it when you have a concrete experience, like having a direct experience. You reflect on that experience, and then you learn from the experience and conceptualize it. Then you try out what you learned in a new situation. The Driscoll model of reflection, 1994. What? Describing the situation. So what? Analyzing the significance and implications of the experience. Now what? Planning for future actions and changes based on the insights gained. And the Johns model, which I use all the time, 1994. You focus on the significant event. Then you consider the thoughts and emotions tied to that experience. Then you identify what internal and external factors influenced the situation. And then you ask yourself, could I have dealt with it better? You evaluate your actions and identify areas for improvement. You determine what can be learned from the experience and how to apply it in the future. Each of these models offers a structured approach to reflection. It helps us to systematically analyze our experiences and draw meaningful conclusions and plan for future improvements. The choice of the model often depends on your personal or situational preferences and the specific context in which reflection is being applied. I'd also like to recommend 2 works of fiction that explore themes of reflection and making sense of the world in different ways. Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, dated 1726. Gulliver embarks on various voyages, encountering strange lands and societies. Each journey offers satirical commentary on human nature and societal structures. The contemplative theme is human folly, the nature of civilization, and the quest for self-understanding and the critique of contemporary society. Another book, The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, 1678. It's an allegorical tale of Christian, an everyman character, and his journey from the city of destruction to the celestial city, where he faces various internal challenges along the way. The contemplated theme there is the nature of faith, personal redemption, and the spiritual journey, and the introspective quest for salvation. To read a full transcript of this podcast episode, visit dothisfirst.life. You can also sign up for my weekly newsletter and listen to all of my podcast episodes on my site. My YouTube channel is at Do This First, and I'm currently at over 7,000 subscribers. Thanks to all that have subscribed. Tomorrow we'll unpack episode number 7 with an emphasis on a beautiful work of art that highlights important principles on reflection. Till tomorrow. Moving past the rain, moving past